What is going on? Welcome to this week's episode of the 1 Second of Strength podcast, wherever you're at. I'm grateful you're here, grateful you're listening. If you're listening to this when it drops, this is the first episode of the new year, 2026. If you're not listening, then this episode I think will still help you. But I debated on doing a New Year's episode, New Year's resolution. I'll be honest, I'm not a big New Year's guy. Like, resolutions aren't really my thing. Now, if you are a resolution person, I think this episode will help you. If you're not a resolution person, that's okay. I used to do like a word of the year, like one word to just really focus on. I know that's been kind of popularized over, on social media and different places. A few years ago, my word of the year was blinders, like the horse blinders that you put on, horses so they can't see to the side. I just really wanted to like focus in and make sure I was just staying true to what mattered most. And so if you would like words of the day or words of the year, you can absolutely use that one. My wife asked me, I think it was on New Year's morning. She's like, so this is the year, right? Like, this is the year that all the good things are going to happen and da 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 da. And I said, I don't know. I don't really think that way, because for me, it's about consistency. And so if you're looking for like the start, like you're at the beginning of your journey and you're trying to like shape your life in a different way, and then New Year's resolutions can absolutely help, but you have to stick to them, right? But for me, it's really about wherever your start is. That's great. Now let's move forward and make sure that we're being consistent, so that when you get to New Year's 2027, you're not like restarting the clock or trying again, or, you are just continually and consistently, moving through and working on yourself and bettering yourself. And if we can do that, then I think we're setting ourselves up for a really good life. But today, what I really want to focus on is, if you could like forecast out and go, what does the best year ever look like for you? Like big goals, big dreams. I am a big advocate of, setting those big dreams out there and like working towards things. So like what is that big thing? And I've got big dreams in my life, from speaking to helping teenagers, like this ship is moving forward. And I found myself on January 1st actually extremely overwhelmed. Like, maybe it was because all the, the New Year's resolutions and things that you see and things that you hear. Maybe it was the comment from my wife that was like, hey, this is the year, right? Let's go. And I found myself just really overwhelmed with all the things that I have to do, all the things that, like, to move forward, to grow, to be better, to be bigger. And I'm sitting here on January 1st, the day of like, hey, let's start, let's go, sitting back going like, man, I'm tired. Like, I'm just kind of exhausted already. And maybe it was because I stayed up till midnight with my 10-year-old who was like determined to stay up till midnight. Maybe it was just lack of sleep, but like I found myself on January 1st just really tired, really worn out already. And I'm like, this is not the way to go. But and maybe you felt that way. Maybe you feel like I do, where it's like, okay, let's go, and it's another day and it's another, like, move on. Let's keep going. And I think in our journey towards self, our journey towards our goals, our journey towards our dreams, like, that's happens sometimes. Sometimes we just need to reset and pause, and that's okay. And so I kind of found myself there on January 1st. But as I think of like the biggest year ever, what I think it really comes down to is, yes, set big goals. Yes, have big dreams and things that you're pursuing. But the reality is that sometimes the best way to get to where you want to go is addition by subtraction. What do you need to subtract out? Because here's what I think. Here's what I believe. I believe you have a goal, a dream of what your best year ever, best life. Like, if you could accomplish this in this year, like, you'd be happy and content, and like things would be moving the right direction. And some of those things might happen and some of those things might, and we can't, we can only control what we can control. We can control our effort. We can control pushing forward. But we can't control the outcomes always, right? Like only what we put in, and then hopefully we get out what we want. But I do believe that you do know what your best year ever doesn't look like. I think if you look back at 2025, right? 2025, And if you were to say, hey, I need to cut these things out, I need to stop doing these things in order to progress, to grow, to be happier. Like those are the things that I need to subtract out of my life so that I can add to my life, that I can be more fulfilled. And because sometimes it's not about, having more time, but it's about working the right way with our time. And just a couple things that I believe that, if you were to stop doing these things, if you were to subtract them out of your life, then I think can be the best year ever. And maybe some of these things resonate with you. Maybe they don't. Maybe you've got your own thing that you just know. And if you just take a couple of minutes and write down, these are the things that I know will not make me successful. At the end of 2026, if I keep doing these things, I know I will have, for lack of a better word, failed myself, or not done right. And, if you cut these things out of your life and you do mess up, or you do fall back into the habit or the trap or whatever, okay, just reset. I'm not about beating you up or beating myself up for the things that I'm trying to improve on or I'm trying to cut out of my life, and I'm just not very good at it yet. But this is a process and repetition. But a couple things that I know that a great year does not look like. A great year does not look like giving up, right? It doesn't look like stopping. It doesn't look like quitting or quitting again, right? A good year does not look like giving up. A good year does not look like continuing to just scroll my life away. That is not a good year. And it's a problem I have. It's a problem, and especially in I think teenagers struggle with this. I think adults struggle with this. And then I look at myself and I go like part of my job is inspiring and motivating on social media, and I get stuck in the trap or the loop of being on social media too much. But I know that at the end of 2026, a good year does not look like scrolling my life away, hours and hours and hours spent on that device. It just doesn't look that way. So giving up, scrolling, more of the same, like the monotonous same of I don't know, just doing the things that I know aren't serving me, right? If I just keep doing those things, I'm not going to feel good at the end of this year. So I know those are things I need to stop. Another one, playing small. I know that a phenomenal year, the best year ever, does not look like the best year ever if I keep playing small. And I think that we fall into this trap of these limiting beliefs. And I know I've been struggling with it as I've been growing. Like sometimes I just feel like I'm not enough, or the things that I'm doing I'm just not good enough. I'm trying my best, but my best just isn't enough. And I start having these limiting beliefs. When we have limiting beliefs, our brain wants to protect us in the worst way, right? That's the brain's job. The job is like, hey, you're struggling. Let's maybe stop. Let's quit. Let's go backwards. Let's get back into our comfort zone. If we can just pause and get back to our comfort zone. But the reality is that safety looks like playing small. It looks like limiting myself. But if I do that, then I cannot benefit other people. And that doesn't mean for me, I'm a speaker. I go and speak in schools and I try and impact a bunch of people. But you might just have to impact or want to impact your family. But are you playing small even within your family? Are you shrinking yourself down and it's not helping you or other people feel bigger or better? I think that sometimes we do that. I think that sometimes we make ourselves feel so small because we're trying to fit into this box that other people have created. But your job isn't to shrink yourself down into comfort. Your job is to grow and show people what is possible. Your job is to be a beacon of light to other people, no matter who it is, right? It might just be your family, it might be your friends, it might be your tight inner circle, but your job is to show them what is possible. And I think sometimes we find ourselves playing small. And so maybe, at the end of this year, what doesn't look successful, what doesn't look like the best year ever, is I kept playing small with my life. What doesn't look like the best year ever is I kept shrinking myself down to satisfy other people. What doesn't look like success is I just time and time again didn't put myself out there because it felt like I wasn't the right person to step into that role. That won't be successful at the end of the year. Maybe one other one is just staying in your comfort zone, which kind of goes along with playing small. But I think that sometimes we do that. Sometimes we just become okay with the status quo of comfort in our life. And maybe that's where you want to be. And if it is, great. Like I admire you for that. And maybe it's not. But maybe you're at the end of the 2026, if you were to say, yeah, I stayed in my comfort zone too much, or I stayed in my comfort zone, would that be a successful year, or wouldn't it be? You have to make those decisions. You have to decide what is not going to be successful, what success doesn't look like, so you can subtract that out so that you can then move forward and do the great things that you were born to do. Because I just get tired of people who play small or sit in their comfort zone because they don't feel like they're good enough. And the reality is you are. You have the power to change other people's lives just by being you. But too many people are not even trying to be them because they just, I don't know, but you have that power. You have the power to change people's lives. So now you know, like if those are the things, and you could just say, and take a few minutes right after this podcast, or or hit me up on Instagram and in a comment or a DM, like tell me something, right? Like I will stop doing this in 2026. I will subtract this out of my life. I'm tired of playing small. I'm tired of giving up. I'm tired of quitting. I'm tired of not showing up for other people. I'm tired of not showing up for myself. Like, what is that thing that you have got to stop doing so that it can be the best year ever? What if at the end of the year you were like, someone said, hey, was 2026 successful for you? And you said, you know what? 2026 was the year that I stopped not showing up for myself. Man, if you could just say that at the end of the year, like how great would that year be? No, seriously, like think about that. 2026 was the year that I stopped limiting myself because I didn't feel like I wasn't good enough. Man, if you could say that at the end of the year, like, oh my gosh, you would be so happy at the end of the year. But what's going to happen is you're going to move forward, and there's going to be these moments where your resolve is going to be tested. No matter what you said, like, I got to stop doing these things, I got to subtract this out of my life, your resolve is going to be impacted. And you've got to make a choice in that moment to move forward. And so once you decide what you don't want or what you need to subtract out of your life, now you need to create a system of success by subtraction. What is your system of success by subtraction? One recommendation that I have, and where I call it your SOS approach, is the simple process of set your intentions, observe your behavior, and then make a shift when you're off. And do this. You can literally do this every single night. My intention for the day, I'm not going to play small anymore. Okay, or the year, right? I'm not going to play small. I'm going to show up for myself. Like, that's what I'm going to do this year. I'm showing up for myself. At the end of every day, if that's your intention, then observe, did I show up for myself today? You know what? I skipped my workout. You know what? I didn't do that self-care. You know what? I scrolled way too much on my phone. You know what? I just, wanted to go and put in the effort, but I just didn't. Or I wasn't consistent like I thought I could do. Or whatever it is, right? Like every single night, observe your behavior. How did you do? And then shift. Use your 1 second of strength to make a new choice. Okay, I kind of messed up today. Don't hold yourself hostage. Just go, I'm going to do better tomorrow. Tomorrow, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to wake up. First thing, I'm going to put on my workout shoes. I am going to go walk for 5 minutes. I am going to leave my phone in the other room so I'm not tempted to be on it all the time. Like you can see how you can make these shifts and put these systems in place to impact your life and impact your year. And so I guess my message today is this. Wherever you're at, resolutions, words of the year, it all comes down to sometimes the best way to get ahead isn't adding more to your life. It's knowing what to subtract out of your life so that you can move forward, because at the end of this year, I want you to be so incredibly happy. I want you to grow so much that you look like a completely different person. But you know what? We can't keep doing the same things we've been doing. We can't repeat 2025 in 2026 and like expect things to change. If we continually do the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result, we're going to be the same kind of unhappy. So I hope this helps you. As always, share this with somebody. I don't know who needs this. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's someone you know. Maybe it's your teenagers. But share this with somebody, because you never know what somebody's struggling with. And this might be the message that can really change their year. So share it with somebody. If you haven't done so already, leave a rating and review. Just wherever you're listening to this, just pause. Give it a 5-star rating. I would love to get to 1,000 reviews or ratings by the end of the year. And I don't have that many. So we've got to really push that. So if you could go leave a rating, I would love that. Send me a comment on Instagram and tell me the thing that you are subtracting out of your life. Whatever you did in 2025, it's gone. What are you going to subtract out for 2026? And then, I can't remember any others. I think that's the last thing. So I hope this helps you, and I'll leave you the same way I always leave you. Go find your 1 second of strength and be happy.